Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Toon Review with myself and Alex, as we have yet another transfer show for you to bring you. There's lots of different goings on with Newcastle United at the minute. Lots of reports about, as usual, going in for some players. Suddenly no more players are on the radar, etc., etc. This is going to happen. It's going to be the case for the rest of the transfer window. We go through a few players tonight that Alex has got ready. One of them is a possible no-go anyway, but because of the news we've received very just before the show, actually. But we'll still look at him and we'll see what he would bring to Newcastle United should he sign. Also, just to let you know, guys, if you do enjoy tonight's show, please do hit that thumbs up. And of course, if you're new to the channel and like what you see, hit that subscribe button and come and be part of this amazing community we have on the Toon Review. Also, hit that notification bell, which will let you know when we go live or we upload any videos. We do obviously have memberships if you want to hit the join button just underneath, or you can, of course, donate to the channel if you do so wish tonight by hitting the $ at the bottom of the live comments. That will take you straight through to donate. And, of course, you get your comment read out straight away. We do have Patreon now. I'm going to speak about this later on in the show, about halfway through, what we're going to be doing with Patreon and how that is working as a separate podcast to these live shows. And what the benefits are of being really a member of the YouTube channel and, of course, a member of the Patreon. So it's a small fee on Patreon, but it does bring you a lot more good stuff. Lots of podcasts from me and Alex. Billy's going to do a few historical ones with Tom about, the 70s and 80s Newcastle sides and the very, very interesting podcasts to come. So stuff that we don't normally do on camera, but we'll speak about that a little bit later in the show. We've got a new member, Ian Calvert. Welcome to Members Club. Again, mate, I'm not sure whether that's a renewal or a new membership, but thank you very much. Richie, good evening to you. Nick Thornton, Paul Feeney, Rachel is just keeping an eye on everybody. George, good evening. Hope you're well, mate. Jan says, if Maxi goes to Saudi Arabia, I hope it's for 100 million cash up front. Well, I've heard nothing about Maxi going, but he has put another cryptic clue on Instagram again, Alex. Very weird.
I don't think it's a cryptic clue. I think people have misread every single one so far. He's been doing them every season, multiple times a season since we've had him. It's no surprise. I don't know why everybody's suddenly so shocked about it. I've actually seen a few bigger accounts on Twitter slagging him off today. I think you're out of order. I think you're a joke. I didn't want to comment on it because I don't want to drag our name through the mud on Twitter and get involved in it. But I just thought there were some very disrespectful comments. Sort of just trying to initiate pylons.
I've noticed that.
We say the same thing about Chris Wood. Look, we respect him when he put the shirt on. We didn't appreciate him as a player. We appreciated certain aspects of his game, but we supported him. And I think Maxi's not anywhere near that. I think Maxi's a superb player. I
agree.
And I just think it's unnecessary.
I don't like. I didn't like what I read. To be honest, I have to admit it wasn't. It wasn't in good taste at all, to be honest. I'm
getting so bored of reading, man, he's not consistent enough. I mean, he is. Every time he's played this season, his numbers have been more than adequate. He's put up good amounts of assists and contributions when he's played that you can't call the injuries him being inconsistent. When he's had the opportunity to play, he's been fine this year, and he's actually improved a ton. The injuries is the only real thing you can pick at, which is fine.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I'd love to see Maxi have a full season being fully fit and see where his stats are at the end of the season after a season of being fully fit. James Welsh, who has been a member now for 10 months on the channel. Thank you, James. He says, I think we need a left-back, centre-back and a number 10 At centre-back, I would go for Mancini. At left-back, I would go for Tierney. And at number 10, I would go for Danny Olmo. Interesting. We've got another new
member. Can I just mention something? It's hilarious how people that say, we don't want Max, he's too injury-prone. Oh, for left-back, we should buy Kieran Tierney.
Yeah, I know. It's
what?
Yeah,
it makes no sense.
I know, but I think James is along the line of he'd like Tierney. I don't think he's been. He's one of the Maxi haters, to be honest.
I don't mean him specifically. I just mean generally.
Chris Elliott, thank you very much for being a new member. Welcome to Members Club, my friend. Thank you for your support. By the way, if you do want to check Patreon out, the link is pinned at the top of the chat tonight, and it is pinned in the description right at the top, so you can't miss it. So if you want to sign up for the Patreon and listen to our podcasts away from the camera, that is there for you as well. It's going to be fantastic, guys. It really is. We've got some good stuff planned, and it's going to be awesome. Let's have a look at the chat again. Ian Skinner, good evening. JB, good evening. Simon says, I only want any loan deal with an option to buy. Why use Eddie Howe's talent to bring out the best of a player to send them back to the parent club, a better player than what they did when they arrived? That's a good point, actually, as well. But that's the risk you take with loans, I guess. Obviously they're under the guidance of Eddie for a season, and then they can sort of disappear. But it's just one of those things. Ian A, good evening to you, mate. Hope you're well. Paul Feeney says, is it right someone is preparing a bid for ASM? Stato is going to lose the plot tonight. I haven't seen anything.
I've already said this before. If there's a big enough fee, it's fine.
Yeah, it all depends on the fee, of course. Of course it does. Mr. Reactions, good evening, everyone. Can you give a shout out to Danny and Lola, please? Danny and Lola, good evening. Hope you're well. ADB, good evening to you. Maxi to Saudi Arabia for 75 million, lol. Has there been some sort of link here with Maxi in Saudi Arabia that we haven't seen?
There must have been.
I haven't actually seen anything at all. Jan says that Yannick Carrasco would be a good loan deal. He's still got it. Carrasco's a good player, actually. Very good player.
I mean, that raises a fair point that it would be nice if we used the loan market this season, because we've not really used it. We didn't use it at all last season. So maybe we could be, we might be able to pinch someone on loan for a season if he doesn't fit into a squad somewhere in Europe, somewhere from maybe La Liga or, potentially even Barca or a team like that are struggling financially. We could say, look, we'll pay half the wages. Just give them to us for a season. There's plenty of clubs where we could try it.
Absolutely. Ian Calvert, thank you very much for your £10 super chat. He says, everyone whinging about transfers nowadays should remember when we sold Gaza, Beardsley and Waddle and invested in bugger all in the team. Showing my age here. No, Ian, you're right. That was a dark time selling those players, and we brought in the likes of Frank Pingle, etc. I remember those days. Scott says, how's Ben doing, Paul? He's not too well. Those of you that don't know, my little son Ben, tested positive for COVID about an hour before we were due to go on air last night. And I must just thank Billy and Alex for taking the show, and Jack going through the show as well as they did. Obviously, it came up very suddenly. He hadn't been well over the weekend, and we decided to test him last night, and it came back positive. So he's been literally in bed all day today. It's hit him quite hard for such a little man. He's only 11. And he's been struggling with it, but hopefully he's getting over the worst these couple of days, and then he'll start picking up towards the back end of the week. But thanks for asking, Scott. Really appreciate that. And I just want to give a big shout out to my middle daughter Phoebe. She's turned 15 today, which is bloody scary. I remember when she was sort of 2 foot tall and small and chubby and cute. But she's turned into a beautiful young lady. So again, a massive happy birthday, Phoebe. She's just next door. She'll probably be embarrassed at me saying this, but there you go. Trolls wants Mbappe on loan. I don't think that's going to happen, matey. So let's just skip over that one. Ash, good evening to you. Geordie Toon for Life says, just finished watching West Ham 1, Newcastle 5. Maxi had a very good game just for you, Alex. Giving a boost to Maxi.
That was one of the games. I think he got a decent assist and was really, really good. He floated out to the right and delivered a nice little ball over to Wilson to head in. I've just had a look on Twitter as well. So I remember when I was on my lunch break, obviously everybody was attacking him for this cryptic post, for whatever reason. Bunch of people telling him to, he should be training. Why are you not training? He followed it up by posting a video of him hill climbing. And then he did a live training session on Instagram for like 3,000 people to watch later on in the afternoon. So
yeah.
I mean, screw the haters. He's working very hard and he's quite happy to shut you all up and train really hard for the club. And it's Graham Bailey. I've just seen it's Graham Bailey of 90 Minutes who said that. Don't believe a word he says. He's just said that he's an option for Saudi clubs.
Well, listen,
and that means what exactly? I'm an option for Saudi clubs. It doesn't mean I'm going to get signed.
But the thing is, Alex, you can understand that. You can understand that, though, with PIF being heavily involved in 4 of the top Saudi clubs and Newcastle United. You know, if there was a deal to be done somewhere, you could understand if a Saudi club was interested in him. I personally haven't seen anything linking Maxi with a move away.
It's Graham Bailey. He's literally just said he's an option. And it's just people have got nothing to say. So Cruel to be Kind has just put bye-bye Maxi. Again, no reason. And somebody put something earlier. What was it about? I wonder, it was a sarcastic comment saying, I wonder what people don't like about Maxi. Well, what? Nobody's actually giving me anything. People are saying, oh, he stays down too long on the floor. Okay. That doesn't affect his game when the ball's in play. Like, give me something. Tell me he doesn't do this. Here is why. Here's the clip. Here's the data. Show me it and change my mind. But at the moment, you're not showing me anything. There's people just saying, oh, he doesn't do this right. Well, you're not saying anything. You just, it's, I'm quite happy. Change my opinion. Honestly, try and change my opinion. I will listen to it if it's an honest sort of debate. But people are just,
Yeah.
And Andrew, mate, I don't care. Maxi chat is tedious now. It's not. He's relevant. He's in the news. I'll talk about him as much as I want, mate. I will.
Yeah, it's not tedious because it's current conversation. And thanks very much, Tom, for saying that. First Patreon podcast is excellent with me and Alex. Thank you very much. Look, Maxi is relevant, and whatever you think about the Maxi chat, if there's a story going around about Maxi, then we're going to talk about it because that's what we are. We're a Newcastle United channel, and if the stories, whether they're true or not, breaking about our players, we will talk about it. We will discuss it. It might be tedious for you to listen to it, but that's just the way it works. If there's breaking stories on our players, then we will chat about them. Whether it's true or not, we'll just have to wait and see, won't we? We never know if it's true or not. We never know what stories are true or not during a transfer window or during the season. But that doesn't stop us discussing it. And that's the point you need to realise. We're a Newcastle United channel. Maxi is one of our bigger players. Whether you like him or not, we're going to talk about him.
There's one there. Maxi doesn't score goals from Matty. I'm pretty sure there was an emphasis on trying to get him to pass more and be more of a creative wide player. And he's got some of the best assist numbers in Europe per 90 when he plays and put up 5 assists.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what's your point?
Yeah. Shalom Gamer says, I'm just curious. I just got married and have no time for hobbies. So do you guys have jobs or is this your full-time job? Well, Alex has a job. Alex works and this is my full-time baby. So that's why I do a lot of production stuff during the day, videos, editing, all that kind of beautiful stuff. But I can't work because I have Parkinson's. A lot of the subscribers know that. So I struggle with that on a daily basis, but this is my sort of release, if you like, and helps me cope with it better. Mickey the Mag says, evening TTR family, hope all is well. Thank you very much. Mr. K says, 100% Alex, sensible as always. JB says, all Maxi said is he's getting fit. Watch me go when things get started. I think that's what people would complain about, though, because, he puts them on and then he gets injured. I'd just like him to stay quiet and do his talking on the pitch, Alex. I mean, look, he is Maxi. He's an enigma. He's one of these players. He's a flair player. He'll put stuff on social media. To be honest, I'm not really bothered. I just want to see him do it on the pitch.
Bruno tweets every day about random stuff he puts on Instagram, doing this for this and motivation for. He's doing it every day. But Bruno does it on the pitch as well. Maxi doesn't always. I think that's what I'm just playing devil's advocate here, Alex. I'm on your side. Murphy tweets stuff all the time, and Murphy's only just become quite useful to the team in the last sort of 6 months.
Yeah,
players. Yeah. There's a few that just don't, like Miggy, and there's a few others that just don't get involved on social media, and fair enough. But there are players that do, and just why are they not allowed to put out a motivational post? We all do it. Everybody here who's got a job, you'll put out, working hard in the gym, or smashed work today because of this. We don't turn around and say, shut up, you've not had an amazing full year yet at your job, you're not allowed to be positive. Like, of course not. It's ludicrous. We should just let people. Geordie, mate, you're right. I am having a meltdown today. I'm so bored of it. I'm so utterly bored of it. And I respect
Alex.
Your
keep
right
talking for a bit while I change my Wi-Fi over, Alex. Just
mate,
keep
not
going.
a problem. I respect Paul's right to his opinion on it. I just think, somebody can only tweet or put a post about themselves motivationally if they're in form. Why? It's ridiculous. Like, just let people post things. Like, if he's training and he's happy with his training, he's like, I'm coming back and my fitness is getting better. Bring on next season. That's great. We want these guys to be hungry. Like, Maxi's got a high skill ceiling. He wants to play in the Champions League. He wants to be the best. He wants to be a winner. If it doesn't work, okay, unlucky, never mind. But, he looks like he's got the mentality that he's always trying to listen and improve. And we want winners. We want everybody to be like that, really. I just don't see what the problem is.
Yeah. Ian, I know we were supposed to get you on tonight to promote the raffle. We will do that either tomorrow or Thursday. It's just with what's been going on with Ben and Phoebe's birthday, mate. I've never had a chance to get it all sorted. So I will get you on either tomorrow night or Thursday night, and we'll get that promoted for you. No problem at all, matey. I've just got your message there, so don't forget. I haven't forgotten, mate. Don't worry. Vincent says, Maxi hasn't been the same without his Gucci headband. Let him wear what he wants. He loves that Gucci headband. He loves it. Jan says, I agree with Alex on the SM, but my problem is when he plays. Well, I tell you what, Alex, that's progress with Jan. That's progress.
Mm-hmm. Right, well, Jan and Bradders has put the same. When did Maxi start 10 consecutive games for Newcastle? He's always injured. Right, start of the season, I would say a good 75% of the fan base was saying, nope, Callum Wilson's not the answer. He's not going to be able to get through this season. He's not going to play enough games. His legs are made of glass. He's made of sandpaper. Or not sandpaper, whatever it is, limestone, whatever's really brittle. And he's just going to fall apart. He's not going to get through a full season. He's not going to be able to score enough goals for us. He's not going to be able to play enough games for us. And that was nonsense. We tried to explain this early season that if we can sign another striker and manage his minutes carefully, he might be able to get through a full season, maybe not play everything, but he might be able to contribute enough. And look what happened. He did. It's what happens when you're an explosive player in a pressing system. Callum Wilson was brittle before we swapped to this pressing system anyway. So, it happens. And now we come out the ground every week singing, hey, Callum Wilson. Like, it's just unnecessary. And again, for a player who's 26 years old with the amount of talent that he's got, we've already got him on our books. We haven't got to pay for him. Just see if it works for 2 seasons while he's in his peak in this house side. We've got way more minutes to potentially give different players because we're in the Champions League. If it doesn't work, we can probably sell him on for reasonable anyway. If it just doesn't work, why the bother?
Yeah. Harry says, do you know what time Tonali is coming to the stadium tomorrow? No. I did actually think about popping over to the stadium and doing a video there, but I don't actually know what time he's going to be there. I think, Adam P will definitely be there from God knows what hour of the morning to make sure he's there. So I don't know. I might speak to Adam a bit later and see what time he's going there, because I might take me kit to St. James's Park to see if I can get a video with Tonali walking past in the background or something. That would be quite interesting. We'll see. We'll see. Mark says, evening, lads. Hopefully a couple of additions will follow sooner rather than later. We definitely trust in our new hierarchy. Indeed. This is a good point from Caretaker. ASM is getting grief as he's our only sellable asset.
I mean, that's true.
It's a very, very good point, that.
Yeah. I mean, he is pretty much. I mean, personally, I think Miggy would be better to sell.
Well,
I love Miggy.
Yeah,
but, we've talked about this before. Miggy's 29. There are people who suggest that he's not going to be able to replicate what he did again. And there are signs, there was the drop off, what was it? 1 goal after Christmas. There were the signs that he was struggling and it got quite repetitive and found out. Maybe with Tonali and some additional creativity, Miggy might be able to continue this run. But, he's 29. The value that Miggy holds right now, he's probably never going to be this expensive again in his career. He's probably the highest. if we were to sell him, now is probably the most we're ever going to get for him. So there's an argument to be made, sell the 29-year-old and bring in a Harvey Barnes, bring in a different younger winger, regardless of whether they play left or right, invest in the squad. Whereas Maxi, we can try him this season. If it doesn't work, he's 27 and we've still got a good sell-on value. Whereas Miggy, if Miggy doesn't work, he's 30 and we're going to get biscuit. We're literally not going to get anything for him.
I agree 100% on the Miggy. I've just seen a comment before there saying that everybody's having to go at ASM, but Miggy, he's got one goal after Christmas, lost his form again completely. And just because he smiles, he gets away with it. And I think that's quite true to a degree. Miggy seems to not get as much as Maxi. And I think Miggy was quite poor at the back end of last season, to be honest. He came a little bit back into form, don't get me wrong. But he's been very hit and miss since he's been at the club. And he seems to escape what Maxi doesn't escape. And I don't understand that. God, this is frightening. Caretaker says, we bought John Robertson, Andy Thorne, and Dave Besant with the Gaza money. Wow. Yeah. Enough said about, Dave Besant. I mean, wow. What about Luke Thomas from Leicester as left back? Decent youngster, actually. But speaking of Leicester, absolutely regardless of Maxi's situation, I would quite like to see us go for Harvey Barnes, Alex, because I think he's got a lot to offer. And I think under Eddie Howe, Howe could take him to the next level. We've seen some brilliant stuff from Harvey Barnes in the last couple of years. But consistency may be a problem, which I think he could work on under Eddie Howe, and he'd certainly be a useful squad player.
Yeah, we might look at him today, to be fair, because he's been linked again and again and again. And there's a lot of people, even when they're not looking at the links, are trying to look at who would be good for our system, because it's not just about on the ball work. It's about, it's about off the ball work and your suitability to the system. I think we can, to a point, we can give up a tiny bit of technical ability if they fit the system, if they've got that work ethic and the off the ball attributes that are necessary. And Harvey Barnes, is not quite as good as sort of Isak and Maxi.
No, he's not that level yet.
But he has been consistently putting goals away, and he generally stays quite fit. So he ticks a few boxes there.
And he works his ass off. He's a very hard worker, and that will also appeal to Eddie Howe in the system that we play.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's useful on the left as well. Ideally, I do feel like we need to be buying somebody for the right. Because we're in that situation again where if Miggy goes ping, we're looking at Jacob Murphy and possibly using Gordon there instead, in a season where we've got a minimum of 46 matches. I mean, it might be enough, but I don't really look. I love Jacob Murphy, but I don't. Let's say we draw Real Madrid in our group, and a couple of wingers' hamstrings go ping. I'm sorry, Jacob. I love you, but I don't want to see you on the starting team sheet against Real Madrid.
Absolutely,
I just don't. I'm sorry, but
yeah. I've just seen a comment come in saying, "Do I only read comments out from members?" No. There's nearly 1,200 people watching this show, so you can imagine how many comments come in. I can't read them all. I really can't, and I'd love to. But at this stage now where we are as a channel, we class the chat. Some comments I'll read out, but a lot of the chat is for each other and to chat to each other as well. And I'll read some of the comments out, or I'll put some on the screen as best I can. That's all I can do. Otherwise, I'd be sitting here. We wouldn't have a show. I'd just be on camera reading comments out, and it's really pointless doing that. The chat is there for that reason. You can chat to everybody. It's a big community here on the Toon Review. So when you're chatting to us, you're chatting to all the viewers as well. And that's why we class this as a family channel, because sometimes it gets a bit spicy, but I think that's what people enjoy. Super Mags, by the way, who's not a member, Harry Paul, been watching you since you had 200 subscribers. Just never been able to message. You're a credit to YouTube. Fantastic channel. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Harry says, I hope he's feeling all right. Do you know what time Tonali you have? We've seen that, Harry. We don't know, unfortunately. Alexander says, with COVID, please make sure you give him lots of fluids and plenty of water. And it helped me, but eating bread helped me keep full and retain water. Yeah, he's drinking loads, actually, making sure he's keeping that going. Thanks, Stu. Clark, he says, I can't wait for Europe next season to hear the new Adam P chant ring around the stadiums. It's an interesting chant. It is. Bruv Butler says, happy birthday and get well soon, Ben. Thank you very much. Happy birthday, Phoebe. Thank you, Paul. Yeah, giving him loads of stuff to get him better, definitely. You got the first player there, Alex?
Yeah, I just don't know how to screen share it without forcing it onto the screen.
Well, just put it up. We're ready for you.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Oh, hang on. Yeah. We've had a new member, Joe, NUFC. Thank you and welcome to Members Club, my man. Thank you very much for your support. Really appreciate that. And by the way, after this player, I'll explain more about Patreon for you and how to sign up to that and what that'll be all about. Another member, Jim Pov. Thank you, Jim. I'm not sure if that's a reoccurring or a new one, but thank you very, very much, my man. That's an intro. There you go.
It's all squashed. Hang on, there we go. Stretch it out.
There you go. Right, so Harvey Barnes, Alex, take it away.
Yeah, right. So I'm gonna be annoying and just preface this with a lot of people talking about the Champions League and Maxi, by the way, and our wingers against Champions League opposition based on my Jacob Murphy comment. It is worth noting as well how well Maxi did against like decent opposition. Like, look what he did to Man City and Kyle Walker, because this season Kyle Walker has pocketed Mbappe, Vinicius Jr. Maxi ripped Man City to bits single-handedly. When he's on form and he's got space, he's very, very dangerous. And in a competition like the Champions League, we're a bit of an unknown sort of what's the word? Unknown proposition. I can't remember what the phrase is. Anyway, we're unknown in the Champions League, so that's an opportunity for Maxi to have more space, because these very, very gifted teams are going to want possession. There's going to be more space to run into. They're not just going to be sort of low blocking. So I think that there could be really, really interesting game. Unknown quantity, thank you. There is definitely going to be some interesting games for a player like Maxi, and I think Isak as well. These players with good technical levels and dribbly boys could be really, really exciting in the Champions League, because it's going to be a different game altogether. Anyway, Harvey Barnes. So let's have a look at Harvey Barnes. Goals are important here. I think it's definitely worth pointing out. I think the first thing I'm going to show everyone is, if we scroll down on his FBref, let's have a look at career to date, because this is kind of why, regardless of what you think about him when he plays, regardless of what we think of his stats and his data, so that's what 14 goal contributions here. 15 here, 16 here, 14 here. It's 4 seasons of consistent high-level goal contributions.
And let's make a point, Alex. 13 goals in a relegated side isn't a bad return.
Leicester were absolutely atrocious towards the back end of last season. I've not seen such negative football. Like, I mean, everybody watching, you know what we played like under certain times under Rafa and at certain times under Bruce. You guys have all seen the games where we've had like 29, 31% possession, and it's just been an absolute nightmare to watch, because we've just parked the bus. We've parked all of the buses and shut the front door and the back door, because it's just boring. That is what Leicester did against us. They were awful to watch. And Harvey Barnes in that team, lacking creativity, the managers being sacked. It was just a mess. He managed 13 goals, which, I mean, what did Miggy end on? 12? 13, 12? So Harvey Barnes has got sort of Miggy output in a torrid season for Leicester. That's rather impressive, because Miggy got all the plaudits and nobody was really praising Harvey Barnes. I think he's been done dirty a little bit there. The fact he's put up similar numbers for 4 seasons, it can't go unnoticed at all. He's done it. He's peak age now. He looks like he's playing a good amount of minutes every season. You've got 24, 22, 24, and 32 starts, making lots of appearances. That would be more than useful for our squad. Obviously, we've got quite a lot of wingers to use. We could spread the minutes around. He doesn't have to play all the games. Right, so let's scroll up and have a look at the important bits. So we've got his main data here. So this is from the season just gone. We do have 2 profiles to look at, as a midfielder and as an attacking mid/a winger, because this is somebody that theoretically could kind of, I mean, I guess he could do a bit of what Willock does. He could do that sort of left side, but also float back into the 8. I don't think he would be a starting 8, but I think he could sort of, depending on what's happening in what phase and position on the pitch, I think he would be quite comfortable at sort of slotting in where necessary. So statistically, his progressive carries are tidy. They're above average at 3.32. His non-penalty XG is very, very high at 0.3 per 90. The 82nd percentile is tidy. Non-penalty goals itself are even higher, so he's outperforming there. What is his actual XG versus his goals scored? Yeah, he is massively outperforming. So he's running a bit hot there. 8.9 XG versus 13 goals. 1 assist, but he should have had 3. So yeah, it is what it is. 25 years old, peak age, done the business in the Premier League. Aerial duels are nice and high as well. His work rate is reasonably good. Versus midfielders as well, if he drops in there, obviously it looks rather good. Offensive statistics, but poor in terms of passing, but we don't need him to pass necessarily. It depends what he's going to be used for. And you've got to remember that these stats will have been absolutely tanked based on Leicester's poor performances this season. So what I've done is I've got a second graphic up of his previous season. So this is in the 21-22 Premier League season. The season before that, no, we don't want to watch MLS. Why every time? We can see that the data is a little bit better here. More touches in the attacking penalty area. He's receiving more passes higher up the pitch. Progressive carries are even higher in the 92nd percentile. His assists are through the roof here at 0.39 per 90. His shot volume is way up. This is a result of Leicester just functioning better as a team. And his tackles are above average here. His blocks are well above average. His aerial duels are still really nice and tidy. So this is probably more of what we could expect from him in our team. If anything, I think we could probably raise this even more. I think we could take him onto the next level. We could see better defensive output. We could potentially ask him to be a bit more careful with the ball, but do all of the standard business, maybe be a bit more creative shot creating actions wise, but he's providing the assists anyway, so it's not an issue. But really, really, really tidy here. So if we see who he profiled like last season, so the season that's just gone. So if you have a look, we've got Lindstrom on here, who obviously we reviewed the other day. I did see a few people in the chat asking if we talked about Lindstrom. Yeah, we did him on a transfer show the other day. So obviously Rashford, we know, is brilliant. Johnson is very, very good for Nottingham Forest. You've got literally Miggy is on this list as well. So Barnes has been heavily rumoured with us previously in previous windows. Who did he profile like in the season prior to that? Even better. So when he's running hot, he's got Saka, Benrahma, Martinelli, Leon Bailey. So there's some incredible players on here he's profiling like. But that was obviously the season before last when he was in slightly better form. Leicester were playing a lot better as a team. So yeah, I mean, we won't go into too much more detail on Barnes unless the links pick up a bit more. So we'll just stick with FBref today because I'm not gonna torture you and look at Leicester's last few games because we all know they were terrible, and it's not going to be a fair reflection on Harvey Barnes and what he can do. But all I can say is I think he's a really, really solid peak age winger who is versatile, works hard. I think he can maybe take a step to the next level. Probably quite affordable as well. It wouldn't be a 50-60 million pound player. We could probably get him for a reasonable amount. Although it doesn't say his contract on here. Hang on a minute. Let's
I really like him, mate. I really like Harvey Barnes. Every time I see him play, he always catches the eye.
Place. I thought it said citizenship Burnley then. Oh, he does have a cap for England as well. Very nice.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
Contract 2025. So 2 years left in his contract at 35 million euro current market value. What's Wasserman? I recognise them as an agency. Do we know them? My internet wants to load. That would be lovely. Come on, Transfermarkt, wake up. Well, Wasserman doesn't want to load for us, but anyway, we'll leave it a second in case it wants to load. But I really like this one. If we did commit to Barnes, I would fully support the decision. I think it's a really smart buy, and it is a lot more sort of guaranteed output. I do think he's very much Gordon, but 5 years in the future, though, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Although I think Gordon has different attributes. I think he's a bit more physically aggressive, and Gordon's a little bit quicker and can potentially play centrally. But yeah, there are similarities, to be fair.
Mm-hmm. Ash said I'm not a member and he reads mine out at times. Absolutely, it's just the ones I pick out. JB says Barnes is a good finisher, but is he up to the level we're looking for? I think he is, and I think, like I said before, combined with being under Eddie Howe, I think it is a massive plus point to bring Harvey Barnes on as a player that can only improve. Just my thoughts.
There's been like 20 people talk about Thiago Almada in the chat tonight. I don't think we're linked with him. Like, if you find me a link, I'll review him. But I don't think we've been linked.
No. Jordy Tune for Life says, I'm not a member, and Paul reads out my comments just for info. Thanks, matey. Chris says, Dan Ashworth said all the top clubs trade their top players. It's the only way to advance through FFP. Yeah, I did pick up on that comment he made. It was quite a while back, I think. Charles, I wouldn't accept anyone else but Murphy starting against Real Madrid. Dominic says, Paul, anyone who has been watching your show for a while fully understands you cannot read out all the comments. You're all doing a great job. Thank you very much, Dominic. Much appreciated. Rice says, Paul, last season we had trouble breaking back lines of lower teams. I've watched Barnes over and over. He scored against every lower team in the league, cutting in and shooting across goal. Yeah, he's very good at doing that. And I've seen him score quite a few from there, Alex.
Yeah, well, he bangs them in every season. I think he scores against most teams, to be fair. I think he's just quite a what's the right word? He's just technically proficient when it comes to his finishing. His finishing is just really tidy. He looks like he beats his XG more often than not. He's just a good finisher. I mean, to be fair, Leicester did have a lot of natural finishers in that squad. Madison was a good natural finisher. Jamie Vardy, obviously, once upon a time was an incredible natural finisher. Everything he touches just goes in the net. And there was a few statistics a few years ago about Vardy being alongside Ronaldo and Messi for just breaking the XG model. Everything Vardy hit just went in the net. So they got some good finishes in that squad. They bought well until they didn't, and now they're in the Championship. Sorry, Lester.
Steve says, "Thank you, Paul, for helping me through with my wife having brain tumor." You're welcome, Steve. I hope she's on the road to recovery, mate. We did have another comment there that I wanted to pick up on. Matthew Thompson says, Paul, can you please give a shout out to my nephews Dante and Tom, who lost their best mate to diabetes complications yesterday? The poor lad was only 10. Awful. Dante and Tom, I hope you are okay. Keep your chins up. Awful news, but time is a healer, as they say, and I'm sure he give it a good fight. And so sorry to hear that news. I really am. Steven says, the level looking for. I think he's talking about Harvey Barnes. Tom says, I like Adam, but I think it's fair to say that he doesn't have the voice of a nightingale. I think he'd be first to probably admit that, yeah. He doesn't. Right, now, we've got over 1,200 watching, so I just want to do this now before we go into our next player. And this is talking about the Patreon. Me and Alex have been in discussions for months to do this. Because it's something we've both been passionate about doing, is separate podcasts away from the live shows and on screen, etc. Now, what we're doing it for is to do those additional stories that we might not necessarily cover on here. Now, people have been asking about the memberships on here and obviously the small fee that there is for Patreon. They're two different things, okay? Now, we're not saying, oh, by the way, don't drop your membership on the channel, because the membership to this channel is very important for us. It helps every month. It keeps us going every month, and it's a massive help to the channel. The Patreon, obviously, we're putting in extra work to bring out these podcasts for your entertainment. That's why there is a small monthly fee for that. And it helps us keep them going. So you can either have both. You can just be a member on here, or you can be a member on Patreon. The members on the YouTube channel, though, it's vital. That's why we have the memberships. But we're going to offer different things. The membership on the channel will obviously get things like, members' prizes. We're going to start doing members' videos as well, separate from the live shows and things like that. So there is going to be a lot more perks for the members on here. And of course, the fee for the Patreon, it's not necessarily perks or anything like that. That is to keep, to help us, because we're putting all this additional work in to bring out different productions for you guys, either to listen to or watch live. We are putting in a lot of work for you now. The channel is growing. So I just wanted to address that, because we've had a few questions regarding the membership. Does it cover both? No, it doesn't. Obviously, I know there's a fee for Patreon, but we've kept it down to a low fee. We may offer more memberships in the future, which will get you entitlement to different things, interacting with us behind the scenes and things like that on Patreon, which we're going to be doing as well. So that will happen over time. We just wanted to get Patreon up and running for a low monthly fee. You can tune in wherever you are to listen to us on a podcast, whether you're in the gym, walking the dog, or whatever. And it's something that we wanted to do so we can bring you additional stories away from the live shows, from the daily news. The first one that we've put out is, it's going to be a series called What's Next, where we're talking about players on the peripheral of the squad. The first one is up on the Patreon already regarding Jamal Lewis. It's about 25 minutes long, where me and Alex discuss what the future could hold for Jamal. And we're going to do that regarding some other players as well. So that's a series that we're starting. As I said at the beginning, Billy's looking to do something with Tom regarding historical events with Newcastle United, looking at different teams of the 70s, 80s, and 90s and things like that. That's going to be a quality series as well. But then Alex will be doing some on his own as well, talking about different things. Me and Alex will also bring you sort of more in-depth chat about the players that we sign. So we'll do a welcome Tonali, but then we'll do a podcast which will take a deeper dive into what we've already spoken about. So there's lots of quality going to be on there, lots of podcasts going to be on there in the very near future. So, but what I must stress is the memberships for the YouTube channel are completely separate and very, very important to keep the channel going as well. As I said, the Patreon one is just, because we're putting in the additional work, it's just a small fee every month. That's all it is. And we hope you enjoy it. So like I say, the link is pinned at the top of the chat today if you want to go and have a look at that. Or it's right at the top of the description just underneath us as well. So thank you very much, guys, for taking the time to listen to that, and just hopefully I've explained it in a little bit more sense.
Additionally, if you guys have got any ideas or anything you think you would like to hear, just let me know on Twitter or even on the show. Or Paul on Twitter. So my name is literally just Toonstato on Twitter, and then look at the Toon Review Twitter as well, or even Billy. Just tweet us, DM us, or ask on a show if you've got any interesting ideas, because obviously there's going to be so much extra. We love chatting to you guys on live shows, but there's not always enough time. A few of you will raise really interesting questions that I really want to start talking about, but we kind of can't, because we're in the middle of a live show. And this gives us an opportunity to just go and talk extra about these additional details. It gives us more fun to chat about interesting things, and then we can just provide more content for you guys.
Yeah, so if there's any podcasts that you'd like to listen to, that you'd be interested in, send your ideas in. We are open to ideas. This is a big family, and we want to bring the best possible quality, not just live or recorded shows on YouTube, but also the podcasts on Patreon. We want to really want to keep that quality going, and we are putting in the work behind the scenes. So that's why it's not a membership on Patreon, it's just a small fee each month, because of the additional work that we're putting in, guys. So hopefully for your future enjoyment. A couple of new members. Caretaker, thank you very much. Welcome to Members Club. And Will1477, thank you for your signing up to Members Club as well. We really do appreciate that. I did mention members videos, Alex. You obviously didn't hear me say that.
Something.
Yeah, we will be doing members videos as well. And sometimes if we do any specials, they'll be coming out a couple of hours earlier for members on YouTube and things like that. So we are going to have a lot more members perks, as well as the prize draws and things like that. Gary says, we'll know when Tonali gets here. The clouds will part, the sun will shine, and there will be a choir of angels. Well, as long as it's not Adam singing, I think we'll be all right. Brad says, I think we got away with Wilson last season. He's always fantastic when he plays, but last year he managed to stay fit. We need to start looking for his predecessor.
Well, I don't think it's that he managed to stay fit. I think it's that he was managed. I think that Eddie Howe and the team managed him. I think he wanted to play more, but Eddie Howe and the team tempered his expectations a little bit and just said, look, this is when you're going to play. This is when we're going to rotate you because we want you on the pitch as much as possible. But to do that, we're going to have to drop you sometimes and take you off on the... How many times did we see him go off on the 60th minute or come on sort of later on? You know, he was managed really carefully. And because of that, he got 17 goals. So it was really good. Was it 18? 17, 18? Well, either or. I think it was 17.
Enough. Thanks, Trolls. Tangy says, how many did ASM get playing on the left where Barnes plays, Alex? But no, let's compare him to Miggy instead. Tangy, he's just making a point. Don't rile him up, Tangy, for God's sake. It's just me. I haven't got Billy to calm him down tonight. It's just me. So just keep him nice. Well, King Hoddle, who, of course, is our resident Tottenham fan on the channel, he says he was asked about Levy earlier on in the chat. And he says, so far, he's doing very well. So, by the way, I saw some pictures of Pochettino today at the Chelsea training. They've started training at pre-season already. Some teams have different starts, of course. But I think Poch will be wanting his team absolutely on fit as possible when that season starts. I'm so jealous
of the Chelsea setup right now. I've just seen everybody's been chatting about it. The Angelo Gabriel... And obviously, they got Andre Santos, and they're rumored with Mateus França. So that's going to be literally the three of my favorite Brazilian players, potentially all ending up at Chelsea. It's so annoying. Chelsea in 5 years are going to be bonkers again. Honestly, they're going to be so good. If Poch works, they could be frightening. If they get like Caicedo and Enzo in the midfield as well, I'm a little bit scared of Chelsea. It's all well and good. People saying, they finished 12th. It's really funny. I'd be very afraid. They look. I don't want to sound like one of the youths, but they do look like they're cooking something up rather scary at the moment.
Listen, Billy mentioned it on a previous show. You know, with Poch going in, it can go brilliantly for them, providing Bowley stays out of it. Poch would get fed up if Bowley gets involved. So let's just see how that plays out. But if Poch is left to do his job, then I think Chelsea will massively improve next season. No doubt about it. They will be a different animal completely. Anyway, next player is Lovro Mayer.
Yeah. So, not somebody I've seen a whole lot of, to be completely honest. I think I've accidentally seen him when I've watched Croatia, although I've not been focused on him. I have seen Stade Rennais play a couple of times. I watched them because I was looking at Benjamin Beauregard. So obviously I've seen Mayer a couple of times by accident, but I've not been watching him purposefully. So maybe 3 or 4 times over the course of the season. But like I said, I wasn't focusing on him and I don't really remember much about his performances. But regardless, he has been linked. I have seen a couple of people in the chat talking about him. So we'll have a look. I don't quite get this one. Because I feel like we're a little bit stacked in this area of the pitch that he would potentially play. But still, he is a left-footed midfielder, which we don't really have anybody who's a left-footer in midfield, do we? I don't think so. So Willock, Joelinton, Longstaff, Tonali, Bruno. I think they're all right-footed. So potentially would give us something else. Not the tallest of players, but still reasonably good physically. He's not too much of an issue. Just under 1,700 minutes in Ligue 1 for Stade Rennais. 2 goals, 5 assists from 3.3 XG and 4.4 expected assists. 1 goal, 1 assist in the Europa League as well with just over 500 minutes. He's been shortchanged a little bit in front of goal. He should have had 3 goals in Ligue 1 and 2 goals in Europa League, but it is what it is. Only on €30,000 a week. What is that in real money? It is 25,800. So modest wages that we could sign him based on his salary. It would not be prohibitive. It would be absolutely fine. However, he does have a long contract. 2027 is quite a big contract. I think it got extended October of last year. So that could be an issue. Peak age, or coming into sort of peak age at 25 years old. So let's go down and have a look at the important bits. So the data is rather green. Does it say how many minutes this was on? It was 2,200 minutes with all the combined data. So this is quite a lot of green here, as you can see.
Yeah.
So he is the guy with the ball progression. I would be shocked if we got somebody like this, because you can see that the passes and the pass completion rate are not awfully high, because he does a lot of the progressive stuff. So progressive passes in the 85th percentile, nearly 7. Progressive carries are through the roof as well for his position in the 90th.
Alex, I'm just going to interrupt you 1 second, because well, it's mother stat or so. She deserves to cut in there. Hi, guys from Menorca. Jeanette, I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful time. I really do. Enjoy yourself. And also, Susan has just texted me to say there is a faint line on my COVID test.
Uh-oh.
Fuck's sake, honestly. Anyway, carry on, Alex.
It's fine. You can just stay in and record more podcasts.
Mate, I'm okay. I have been feeling groggy, but I just thought that was just times. But never mind. Carry on, mate.
So, lots of ball progression, whether it's passing or carrying it. When he does try and carry the ball and dribble with the ball, his successful take-on rate is enormously high as well, than in the 93rd percentile at 1.68 per 90. And then we look at his offensive data, shot creating actions. 4.47 shot creating action. So he's providing lots of high value opportunities for his teammates to go and have a shot, which is amazing. His assists he's literally providing an assist every 4 games. Every 4th game, boom, assist every single time. In the 97th percentile, his shot volume is really, really high for a midfielder. Nearly 2 shots per 90 in the 90th percentile. It's just really, really good reading. He's a very, very good player on paper. I do need to go and have a little look at his play style as well a bit more, and go and familiarize myself with the team. So this is the same data, just in a nice little chart for you. As you can see, the attacking statistics and the possession statistics are through the roof. The defensive work is a little bit to be desired. We could possibly do with him improving that. Is it that he can't do it? Not necessarily. It depends on what role he's tasked with within the team. His interceptions are above average, to be fair. So it's not that bad. It's fine. It's 37th percentile for tackles. There's no reason why he couldn't improve this in a different team. So who does he profile like? We've got Harvey Elliott. We've got Martin Odegaard on this list. We've got Kevin De Bruyne. We've got Nicolo Barella. We've got Joe Willock. And his teammate, who I mentioned I was watching, Benjamin Beauregard. And Zielinski, who's literally just won Serie A with Napoli. So that is rather impressive, the sort of company he's keeping. And there is not really, it's not up for debate. I'm pretty sure we were scouting Barella, whether it was a smokescreen or not. He was on our list. Joe Willock obviously is on our list because he literally plays for us. So is it a stretch to suggest that this guy's on a scouting list? Not at all. I think it's very realistic that he could be on a list for sort of, comparisons and stuff. So let's go and have a look at his SOFA score. Here he is. 21 million euros on SOFA score. Strengths apparently are high pressing and playmaking, which is rather nice. Thank you for my contribution. Let's go down. So this is the Monaco game. So last 3 games of the season were all very decent. He ended the season very, very, very strong. So against Monaco, he dropped an 8.2, scored a goal. They actually beat Monaco 2-0. So well done. Of course, Monaco today got Mr. Adolf Hutter as their new manager. Which
I had to laugh when I saw that name. I was like, oh my God. Very strange.
A little bit controversial. In Germany, by the British media, he was generally known as Adi Hutter. But of course, if he ever ends up in the UK, I'm pretty sure the media are going to have a field day with it. But that's by the by anyway. So them against Monaco. So they played a 4-1-4-1 with Benjamin Beauregard next to Maya on the left-hand side. We've obviously got Amina Guidi, who we've been watching recently, who's very, very good. Jeremy Doku, who gets mentioned all the time with transfers. So 2 incredible wide players behind Toko Ekambi up front. So really, really nice squad, actually. I'm not as familiar with their defensive players, but still. So let's have a look at his game. So very impressive heat map here. He's covered a lot of ground. He's been everywhere, defensively, offensively. He's even swapped sides for a little bit, potentially for set pieces. So he got his goal, 65 touches. The passing accuracy wasn't quite there, but we did see that in his raw data that maybe he's licensed with trying the more dangerous stuff. 2 key passes. He got a successful cross and a successful long ball. 4 shots on target. Oh, I've jumped, sorry. 4 shots on target is a lot. Completed all 3 of his dribbles that he attempted. Won more than half of his ground duels. Got in a tackle, drew a foul. So some very, very good offensive statistics here. And the fact that they beat Monaco 2-0, he got a goal. He's obviously had quite a good game there. And let's go and have a look at his game here. So he actually got 2 assists in this game. Oh, they had a stinker, didn't they? Look at those ratings. Oh dear. So same formation. Let's have a look. So, oh no, we don't want that. So very, very crazy heat map here. He's been all over the place. Looked like he was involved in corner taking, whether it was a short corner or he was taking corners. Again, he's left-footed, so it would give us an additional option. So 5 key passes in this game with a much better passing accuracy against the weaker side. He got his 2 assists, created 1 big chance for his team, completed both of the dribbles he attempted, more than half of his ground duels again, a couple of fouls, and he was very involved in this game with 4 tackles and 2 interceptions. So very, very energetic, technically sound, good ball progressor, left-footed. I really like him. I'm just a bit confused about where we would play him, because this is currently where we play Joe Willock and Joe Linton. So I love him, but I just don't see how he plays unless we really want him because of the left-footed thing. It's something that I've whinged about towards the back end of last season, that when Miggy was out, do you remember when he was out for sort of 3 or 4 games? Yeah. When Miggy was out, there was not a single left-footer in the team, apart from Byrne. And I felt like it restricted us a little bit. All of our passing lanes and options were a little bit predictable towards the back end of last season in certain games. And I think a left-footed player who is very technically sound would be really, really tidy for us and just give us a different element offensively. So let's look at the transfer marked. He is very, very, very well. It's good reading at international level. 21 caps for Croatia is no joke. Anybody who gets in that Croatia midfield is very impressive. 4 goals as well. So very, very tidy, actually. It is worth pointing out that he started at Zagreb as well. So anybody who's played for Dinamo Zagreb has obviously come through one of the best teams, well, the best team in Croatia. Sorry for all the rival teams. And he's been involved in their setup all the way back to the Croatia under-18s. Current market value on Transfermarkt is a little bit cheaper at 20 million euros. It does feel awfully cheap. It feels like an absolute budget option. Can somebody... I mean, maybe Foxy, you know ball. Why is he so cheap? I don't understand. I feel like he's got buckets of experience, great at international level. He's peak age at 25 years old. He's technically proficient, left-footed. He's had a great season in Ligue 1. He presses well. Why is he? I don't understand why he's so cheap. I'm just not sure where he would fit in with us based on we've got Joe Willock and Joe Linton in those roles. I really, really like him, though. I'd take a punt on this guy. If we can pick him up, maybe part of a swap deal, maybe with a player sale, we could just really buff up our squad depth. I think he's decent. If anybody can figure out why he's so cheap. Is he broken or something? Is he injury prone? Is there something I've missed? Hang on, let's look at that. Let's look at his injuries.
Yeah.
Injuries, I mean, no, not really. He had a hip injury last season.
That's nothing.
And he's fine. He was ill with rest, apparently, whatever that means.
For 2 days. Well, I mean, wow. The rest of them for 2 days. He missed 1 game, and that was counted as an injury.
Conveniently, that looks like a Christmas hangover, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, but they could have just played a couple of games over the, Christmas period, and they've decided to rest a few players and put him out as injured. Very strange one.
Wasn't that the World Cup?
No, because we went back. We played in the Carabao just after Christmas, if you remember.
But I think maybe because Croatia went quite deep into the tournament.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's a good idea.
he was potentially given that game off.
He came back late. Yeah,
it's
good
unfair
point.
to list that as an injury. That's not fair. That's a bit harsh.
It is indeed. We have a £20 super chat from Will1477. Thank you, Will. Hi, Paul and Alex. Hope everyone is doing well. Keep up the great work and hope your lad feels better ASAP. How are the lads? It looks like I've got it as well now. Just had more confirmation through. So it looks like I'm getting banished as well. But Mark, I know what you're talking about there with the membership. We may look at doing a 2-tier membership on this channel as well, because obviously we'd like to get more members in, definitely. So it's something we'll be looking at, because we do take your feedback. Keith, there's no merch on offer at the moment, mate. We are revamping and having a new website that will be done hopefully for the start of the new football season. If I can put my finger out and actually decide on who's going to do it for me. I need a graphic designer and stuff. Well, not a graphic designer. What are you laughing at?
I'm just laughing at Tom's comment. Monaco obviously have ambitions to dominate in Europe. That's terrible.
That's shocking. And you've gone and read it out. Well done. I apologize.
I made no reference to the manager.
I do apologize once again to the whole of Europe for the Toon Reviews comments on things like that. I mean, I have no control over what these people that join me on the channel say. I can only apologize. El Dizzle says, no, the Toon channel goes into this much detail, top quality. Thank you very much. Julie says, I'd say I want, but I wanted Paqueta and Szoboszlai, so staying silent on this one. Man says, as a big Milan fan, seeing Tonali the past 3 years, he is very good. Yeah. Let's have a look. Did we get anything else in there? Well, yes, we did. Hang on a second. Ted says Gonçalo Ramos will be next in. Now, I have seen a couple of links with him again today. Whether that means anything or not, guys, as usual, I just don't know.
It's going to be way too expensive.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Julie J says, used to get my comments read out before I was a member too. I joined because I've grown to love this channel and such a great bunch of people, TTR family. Thank you, Julie. That's what we strive to be. Alex, do you have another player, or is that it for tonight?
Is there anybody else we could potentially do that's interesting enough? I mean, we did get linked with Gonçalo Inácio again. We could have a brief look at him, to be fair. A defender. So we've looked at him before. So it's not particularly difficult to bring him back up. Sorry, it's going to have to be a bit hashed together. 1 second. I'm not even sure where he got linked from. I can't remember.
I don't think I'll get away with this one. I have a suggestion for the Patreon. Paul goes to the American games and vlogs them. No, it's not happening. I will be doing the watch-alongs, though. Providing they're there, they will be brought. We will be doing commentary of hopefully most of the preseason games as well as into the new season. Right? Do you want to have a quick look at Inácio, Alex?
Yeah. Sorry, my dog's pestering me for another walk. Not yet. Oh, I shouldn't have said walk. Damn it! Dropped myself in there.
Fatal error. Fatal error.
Out. She's not listening now. Right. So Gonçalo Inácio, I think is how we're saying this guy's name. We have reviewed him before. So he was one of the alternatives when we were looking at Botman, when we looked at what was his name? Schlotterbeck, the other guy as well. Yes. When we were looking at all of the left-footed young centre-halves, we eventually obviously settled on Botman. I'm a little bit, I know, Jeff, another left-footed centre-back. I know, I'm not sure either, but we've been linked, so I don't quite know why we would go for another one right now. We've got Botman, we've got Burn as a backup. I can't see us getting another left-footed one. I fully expect us to go in for a right-footed, right-sided centre-half as competition or backup for Fabian Schär. But he's been linked, so we'll have a little look and see if there's anything in it. You never know. Honestly, you never know with this team. So, 21, he's still really young, actually. He's way younger than I remember him. 1 goal, 3 assists from 23, nearly 2,400 minutes.
Was that your dog growling?
It was, yeah. She's doing little grumble growls because she wants to go out.
Wow.
Six appearances in the champ. I'm getting interrupted by the dog now. Ouch. Yeah, 6 appearances in the Champions League and 6 in the Europa League. So for such a young person or young player to be playing, that's a lot of minutes at a good level as well. Oh, by the way, slight U-turn. I don't know if this is true or not because I saw it on my lunch break from multiple random sources. But they've released the league rankings. UEFA have released the league rankings, and France have dropped out of it. Ligue 1.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I was quite surprised by that.
What was 5th? Was it the Eredivisie? I think. Or no. It was Was it Belgium?
It was the Belgian league. It's gone into 5th. I think Eredivisie was 6th, and League was down to 7th.
I think I saved a post. Let me have a look because this is actually really important. This is really important for me and how I view data. I don't know if they're going to change it on all of the sites because typically they record data for the top 5 leagues. So I don't know if they're just going to do it based on the traditional Big 5 leagues or if they're going to honor it and actually do the real top 5 leagues. But I think we're now top. England is top. Obviously, we've been represented really well in Europe. Man City have just won the Champions League. So, of course, we're going to be top. La Liga is right down the pecking order as well. Right, I've got it up on the phone. Right, it is. So, I don't know if this is true. I need to verify it. But it looks like it's England first, Italy second. Of course, Italy with getting Napoli, AC Milan and Inter really deep in the Champions League. And then getting Fiorentina through to a final. And who else was it? There was another one as well, wasn't there? And Roma. So Serie A teams did amazing in Europe, although they won nothing.
Well, there you go. He's always got to throw a spanner in. Sorry, Italy.
I know. Sorry, Serie A. So England, Italy, Germany, Spain, Belgium. So Belgium are now 5th. So the 5th top league in Europe is apparently.
I find that absolutely staggering that Belgium are 5th.
I know.
Absolutely.
So Club Bruges and all of those kinds of teams. And then 6th is the Netherlands, 7 is France, 8 is Portugal, 9 Turkey, and 10 Switzerland. So Ligue 1 have dropped out. They're not even close. They're in 7th, which is hilarious. Anyway, sorry guys, side tangent, but really important. So Inacio, left-footed centre-half. So still 21 years old, 6'1", profiles really well. Let's scroll down and have a look at the data. Although he does profile similar to our centre-halves in that he can't score very often. He should have scored 2. He scored 1.
Yeah.
Let's go down and have a little look. That's all the green. It's lots and lots and lots of green. You do have to take it with a pinch of salt, though, because he plays in Portugal. It will be comparing him to some of the lesser leagues. However, he has been playing in the Champions League and the Europa League, so a lot of this data will all be compiled together. So it's still really impressive because he's got to put up these numbers in the Champions League as well. It all gets added in. Progressive passes for a centre-half. That is
mental.
It is bananas.
Is that 9 per game?
Yeah, 9 per 90.
Shit.
9 progressive passes per 90. So
that's outrageous, man.
Absolute, all of the fruit you can name. That is bananas. Progressive carries as well is through the roof. I mean, this guy just technically is hyper proficient for a centre half, and he's doing all of this while being 6'1" and a centre half. His progressive carries at the 97th. So he's carrying the ball forwards twice per game. And his successful take-ons are 0.65 in the 96th percentile. His interceptions are through the roof, which always points to a very clever centre-half. If their interception statistics are quite high, it implies he can step up, steal the ball, and then progress the ball. I've seen this guy play a bunch. A lot of the players we've reviewed recently, because we've reviewed so many, I've not been able to see much of them. However, I have seen this guy lots. He is really, really, really good. Tackle stats really, really up there as well, well above average. Shot creating actions for a centre half at 1.98 in the 99th percentile. That's to be expected, though, with all of this ball progression. I mean, that is progressing to somewhere, which is players to then go and do something offensively. Shots as well. He likes a cheeky shot, maybe 0.57 per game. Assists metrics really, really high, so he gets an assist every 10th game as a centre half. That's really, really tidy. Just incredible here. And if we go and have a look at his, again, we don't care about Atlanta. I'm sorry.
When we linked with a player from Atlanta once.
Can't get rid of it. I think was Almada Atlanta?
It might be, yeah.
I think he was. Yeah, so you can see here the possession statistics for a centre-half are incredible, through the roof here. Attacking statistics are amazing, and the defensive are decent as well. You've got to remember that they're one of the more dominant teams in the Portuguese league, so he's not going to need to do as much defensively. So let's scroll down and have a look at who he profiles like. You've got Araujo. You've got Harwood Bellis, who obviously played for the England under-21. So for anybody who watched, who was with us for the watch along for the under-21s game, he is one of the centre halves that partners. What's his name? Brighton centre half. His name has disappeared. Colwill, Levi Colwill. Is that his name? Am I thinking of the right player? It is Levi Colwill. Yeah, the number 4.
Yeah. Is Harwood Bellis not the captain?
I'm not sure.
I'm sure he is.
You've got Bayer at Burnley as well, which is rather interesting.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting one, actually. But that could be, Burnley have played some cracking football in the Championship. You've got Jurrien Timber in there as well for Ajax, who was linked with the move to Manchester United the season before last. No. Sorry, dog again.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Really Wild Show. The growling in the back is not my stomach. It's not anything. It's Alex's wolf dog howling. Bless her.
So Jurrien Timber, David Hanko as well from Feyenoord, who we've actually looked at in a previous show. You can see I've clicked on him there recently. So we have reviewed him before. Mm-hmm. And then we'll have a look at his career to date. It's all been Sporting. 28 starts last season. The season before last, and then 26 last season. So he's playing a lot of minutes, and obviously a much better goal contributions the season before last as well, with 6 goal contributions, which we'd be absolutely laughing if we could get 6 goal contributions from a centre half.
Yeah,
we're not used to any from ours, apart from Fabian Schär against Forest in the first game of the season. So let's go and have a look at his transfer marks, because that could hopefully I can just type in Inacio. Yes, I can. His agent is that's a weird name. So he's got 2 caps for Portugal. Current market value at 30 million, although I think he's going to cost more than that. Let's refresh the page. Sorry, let's go back. Contracted till 2026. Did it say his wages on his FB ref? No, it doesn't say his wages, does it?
That's interesting.
Well, I would imagine they're quite reasonable playing in the Portuguese league, to be fair. But again, he's just a left-footed centre-half, and we've already got one. We've got 2. So
it's an interesting one. I can't see it happening. Would I have him? Absolutely. He's at a good age. He's only 21. He's got he's not the finished article. He's got a lot going for him. He looks like a very, very good player.
I don't know. I think he's not too far away from being the finished article. You can't improve the data much more than that.
Well, true, but I mean, he's 21. This guy, he could go places, can't he? So, I just don't. I don't think we'd pay that kind of money for another centre back, Alex. If I'm openly honest, I can't see it because of you've mentioned there what we've already got.
Well, we're looking at him because he was linked, not Oh,
absolutely, yeah.
I mean, who was he linked by? Football Insider, probably not.
We'll have to see. Darren from DJL Floats, thank you very much for renewing your membership. I know you've been away a while. He says, hi, Paul. Sorry I've been away for a while. I had to come off everything to keep my sanity. I'm in a better place now, though, so good to be back. And please, the channel keeps on growing, mate. Well done to you all. Thank you very much. Brian McFadden, I loved you in Westlife, matey. He says, last night I was at the USMNT in Charlotte, and the amount of guys that came up to me singing E-I-E-I-O, and we got Bruno in the middle was amazing. I've passed the Toon review on to them. Thank you very much. We do like to expand our American audience, despite Alex's love of the States. Julie J.'s Patreon idea. What about something like those podcasts Shearer, Mika, and Lineker used to do? Top 10s. Yeah, absolutely. Good idea. Really good idea. I like doing the top 10s. I have a feeling those top 10s may create a lot of Hot discussion. Mickey says, where's Ward Daisy? Well, we haven't seen Daisy for a while. Those of you that are new to the channel, guys, Daisy is our channel sponsor. Well, she likes to do a little dance here and there. So we're going to see Daisy on... Well, what should we do for Daisy at the minute? Alex is going to sort the dog again. We'll put old school Daisy on. And for those of you that are wondering what the hell the dancing cow is doing, Daisy is our channel mascot. And for those that are very, very regular and have missed Daisy, here you go. Alex has been replaced by the Wolf. I mean, isn't she just a stunner? I haven't got Myla with me tonight. She's next door, but absolutely incredible. Somebody has just recently suggested in the chat that we're the two, Myla and your dog, Alex, do a podcast together. I don't think there'd be much conversation on there, to be honest. I can't. I can't.
All the howling.
Oh yeah, lots of howling, painful on the ears. So ouch. Chelsea Houston says, "Hi guys, hope you're well, Paul and Alex. Just checking in. We'll go back and watch while show tomorrow. Hope everyone is good. Thank you, Chelsea. Lots of cow emojis coming in as you'd expect for Daisy. Right, that is the show for tonight. Yes, she is a semioid, Ian. She's lovely, big ball of fluff. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Please do check the Patreon out. Even if you don't sign up, just check it out. Have a look at it, see what you think. It's linked below in the description as well. Thank you very much. If you have enjoyed tonight's show, please do hit... What's the matter with you?
I'm sorry. Ricardo's just said, is that a Doberman?
Wow. I think you need
That's
to go
the story
watch...
of the night.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Interesting. Ricardo, do some research on doggies, mate. Please do hit the thumbs up button if you have enjoyed the show. As usual, it is vital to us to get the likes so that we stay in the search results on YouTube. And of course, fans like yourself can find the channel and hopefully subscribe in the future. Also hit the notification bell, which will let you know when we go live or upload any videos. Please do subscribe, of course. It is free to do so. So get subscribed and help us up to 22K, which is our next target. Thank you very much for all your donations tonight. Thank you to all the new members. We've had a real batch of them come in tonight, so thank you very, very much. Thank you to the Mod Squad for fabulous work again. Thank you to Alex for another great show, and we will see you tomorrow night. We've got Charlie Bennett coming on. We do plan to do the watch-along for England in the semi-final against Israel, but that will be pending any developments, shall we say, with COVID.
And Paul might have COVID. So
yeah, so we'll shows see. Might be a stretch if I'm sweating like a pig here now. So, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. But stay skewed. We will have Charlie Bennett tomorrow night, though, definitely around about 7:30. So keep an eye on the channel for that one. But in the meantime, guys, have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we will see you very soon. Good night and take care.
Come back and check out some breathing.